Hello, students. Today we will discuss the poem The Election by Sitakant Mahapatra. Sitakant Mahapatra is an Oriya writer belonging to the post colonial era. In his writing, he tries to go against the trend of romanticizing the past and instead focuses on the reality and the presence of moment. The reality in his works is not what we see or perceive with our eyes, but the reality of life. The poem The Election is based on the post colonial disillusionment. The poem is a narrative of an election day in India. A politician is the narrative of the poem who has come to campaign for the votes in a remote area. The poem is a satire on the rule of people in India. In the beginning, we find that he has criticized the politicians, but at the end of the poem, the criticism moves from the rulers to the commoners and failure of democracy is revealed. Our jeep growls through your village, seeking strange melodies from the roaring sun, the common will, from the crisscross geometry of private agonies. In this stanza, the narrator, that is, a politician, says to the villager that the jeep of politician crawl on the road to reach them. The jeep does not run but crawls, signifying the worst condition of roads in remote areas. Rallies of the politicians are accompanied by music, applaud, noise, hooting, etc., which is quite strange as such things rarely happen in this village, particularly under the burning sun. All this happens for the sake of the common will, that is democracy, which is very important in India. That is why he keeps the term in single commas. The politician forces the villager to acknowledge the problems and difficulties he has faced by traveling to their village on crisscross geometry, that is, irregular and rough roads. If we go deeper into the words, we find how politicians who were supposed to be the servants of the public ironically become their masters and vice versa. Thus, now that democracy has made them masters, the living of a comfort zone for the people would be a kind of gratitude on people. Our dark longings don't touch you, nor our trappings, or posters, symbols, speeches, handbills for your grief outlives empires. In the second stanza, the politician says that the villagers are not affected by the dark longings, that is, their hard work done by him on poster making, symbol and campaigning, speeches and the handbills, etc., because they have their own sorrows and griefs that surpass the issue of the states. However, it is the griefs of the commoner that help him to gain power. The politician emotionally triggers their problems to gain favor and ultimately succeed in gaining votes as well. The cold grandchildren awaken in your heart as you discern muted allegories on our ashen faces. In the third stanza, the narrator says that villagers have killed desires in their hearts as they know well that their condition will never be changed. However, they have hope in their hearts that their future progeny may be able to live in a better way. This makes them look on the face of a politician which is tired and ashy as he has left his comfort zone for the sake of votes. In these lines, one can see how people see their leaders. They consider as if they have some magical powers to do something for them. The people never try to bring the change on their own, but instead put their hopes on the politicians. Hence, they remain in the same condition for eternity. Here, the great persuaders are little things and not so hidden, cheap plastic, cheaper nylon, dark glasses to blot out the sun. In the fourth stanza, the narrator exposes the real face of democracy in India. According to him, it is not hidden, but the very common fact that in such remote areas, The politician need not to do something big and extraordinary for the votes, but providing cheap things like plastic, nylon, glass, etc. during the campaign period will do. Politicians thus succeed to blot out the sun. They deviate people from the development and welfare by giving away the cheap goods only during the campaign. Thus, anti democracy comes into existence with one foot in hunger and the other in the soul. You make your decision the anguish of choice. In the last stanza, the narrator describes the failure of democracy caused not by the politicians but by the commoners. The people, on one hand, become selfish in their demands and ask for livelihood to the rulers at any cost. On the other hand, they talk about soulful things like basic rights, social change, etc. They cannot decide to which side they should go and ultimately fail in making the right decision. The social issues like inequality, class divide, and poverty are not because of politicians but because of the choice of the people. Hence, the narrator explains how a task like election, which was meant for the welfare of people and which could bring about the change in the country, become a miser task of corruption and malpractices. Thank you very much.